The entire Donkey Kong canon of games just, I guess, takes place before everything else in the Mario canon. It'd be a huge bombshell to the franchise, but maybe. I was right. So, I know a lot of people keep saying that Nintendo doesn't care about a timeline in the Mario universe. I agree that that's not their priority at all. But if they didn't care, they wouldn't have made this game be a direct prequel to Super Mario Odyssey. They may not care about a straight up lore timeline, but I do think that devs care about a continuity of events. Not only that, but this game goes out of his way to reference most of the other Donkey Kong games. This confirms to us that this game takes place after most Donkey Kong games and before most mainline Mario games. But okay, that still leaves like a big question, right? Why is DK an adult here, with Pauline being a 13-year-old kid? Pauline is assumedly around the same age as Mario, and so is DK. We literally see Mario and DK as babies in the same time and place in Yoshi's Island. Well, it's kinda way more simple than I originally thought. DK is a Kong. Kongs are a type of gorilla. DK simply physically mature faster than the others because that's how his biology works. Which means that in Bananza and in all the other Donkey Kong Country games, DK is around 13 years old, which is a normal age for a gorilla to be an adult. I don't really like using real-life biology in arguments like this, but in this case, just fits really well. DK is a fictional gorilla. He is a Kong. He matures faster and, well, probably ages slower, considering how long Cranky has been around. It makes complete sense that 10 years after Bananza, when Mario and Pauline are adults, that DK would be mostly looking the same. At the end of Bananza, both the main ending and the post-game ending, they both directly lead to Super Mario Odyssey. The main ending has Pauline going back to her home, New Donk City. The post-game ending has Pauline coming up with Jump Up Superstar, which she sings in front of the whole city, both in this and in Odyssey. So there you go. The DK games take place before most of the Mario games. Jesus Christ, that's so wild though. And Bananza is officially a direct prequel to Super Mario Odyssey. But what about arcade DK? What about the fact that Pauline in Odyssey talks about her traumatic experience being kidnapped by an ape? What about the fact that Cranky Kong in this very game references a quote-unquote rival in overalls? Isn't Cranky Kong supposed to be the original Donkey Kong from the arcade? Isn't he supposed to have kidnapped Pauline as an adult? Bear with me now, this is confusing, but there is absolutely an explanation. Let's start by looking at the fossil collectibles at the Planet Core in Bananza. They're all pixelated items from the original Donkey Kong arcade game. We even got one that is straight up is a depiction of the original arcade DK. The description says that it's a certain Kong at the prime of his age. Isn't it weird that it just so happens to mention his age? That to me indicates that it's talking about Cranky, who's super old at this point. Nintendo did not erase the lore of Cranky being the original DK. In fact, they only built upon it, because we also get barrels and also Pauline's items from the arcade game. Their description says that they belong to, quote, an elegant lady. There's an ad in New Donk City called The Lady and the Kong, which means that the Donkey Kong arcade events happen, but Pauline was not in it. It was the lady. And who's the lady? Well, we don't really know. Pauline mentions having a grandmother, and I do think that her specifically only ever mentioning her grandmother as far as family goes is an indicating factor to her being the original lady in Donkey Kong. And the ape that Pauline mentions being kidnapped by in Odyssey, it was either Void Kong, but he's not really an ape because apes don't have tails, but I figure it's probably Grumpy Kong because, they both kidnapped her as a kid, and it wasn't DK, and it wasn't Cranky. So we got 2 out of the 3 key players in the original Donkey Kong event figured out. Cranky Kong was the original Donkey Kong, and the lady, possibly Pauline's grandmother, was his victim. But then, who saved her? It couldn't be Mario. Mario wasn't even born. Well, it was Jumpman. I know some people hate to hear this, but it's undeniable at this point that Mario in canon is not the Jumpman. In real life, in the arcade game, it was Mario, but in the continuity of events in the Mario universe, it wasn't. Now, if he's Mario's father or grandfather or someone else entirely, like that Giuseppe guy from the movie, we have no idea. If he is Mario's grandfather, just like the lady is Pauline's, there's a non-0% chance that Mario and Pauline are actually cousins. If Jumpman and Lady were involved romantically, and they're both the grandparents of Mario and Pauline, then it just sort of adds up. It explains why Pauline and Mario know each other in Odyssey. The rival in overalls that Cranky mentioned, it was Jumpman, not Mario. Nintendo retconned the arcade era of games, but not in the way you expect. Those games still happen in-universe, but they're more like legends, they're history. That happen at different times with different people, only being mysteriously alluded to here and there. So yeah, this is it, man. I was surprised with how much Nintendo actually gave us in terms of lore with Bananza. It's absolutely insane. The pieces fit together surprisingly well. This game is so freaking good, I'm gonna review it soon.